Well, thanks for the pandemic, we have like 1 month blank with no coffee selling. We just recently get a very exciting coffee from Colombia.
Yes.
So would you like to share with the audience that new coffee that would be excited about, the farm and
Absolutely.
how gorgeous this coffee is?
Yes.
Just give you a context, since the COVID-19, like there was no fresh coffee available in Australia. So I'll ask sample from everyone, all the importers, but all the coffees, it's not like sparkling. It's a bit stale, and it wasn't really, the coffees are something I get excited about it. So I talked to Mark from Calabella Coffee, and they offer me this special coffee from the farmer called Milton Monloy, and I get pre-shipment sample from the origin, and I tasted it, and then the moment I tasted it I knew that this was going to be the Brut Coffee Volume 8. So this coffee is a Tabi variety, a natural process. So he harvested literally March 2020, like 2-3 months ago. Then it took him to 1 month, 1 month to process it. He used the two-stage fermentation. Once he only picked the ripe cherry, and he bagged into the anaerobic environment for 48 to 72 hours. Then he pulped it, and he put it into the container with minimum amount of oxygen, and then he fermented second stage. It took about 24 to 48 hours. Then he dried on African lace bed, and it's been processed very, very carefully. And the moment I tasted this coffee, it was just so juicy, so mouth-watering, and yeah, it's a delicious coffee.
Right, Takumi, are you ready to demonstrate for our audience how you brew this amazing coffee?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be making this freshly roasted Milton Monloy Tabi Natural for you to demonstrate. First, to make 2 cups of coffee, you will need 24 grams of coffee. Just grind it here. So the grind size should be very fine, like finer than drip definitely, but a lot coarser than a cupping, medium. So I'll put 24 grams in here. And this is a natural process, so make sure your water temperature is not too high. So I'll recommend about 92, 93 degrees of water. For 24 grams of coffee, I'll use 400 grams of water. If you're just making for yourself, use 12 grams of coffee and 200 grams of hot water. Easy. So I'll be using this Clever Dripper today. About Clever Dripper is that it doesn't require any technique on pouring. You just need to put the coffee, pour the water in, and wait 2 minutes, and you're gonna have delicious cup of coffee. When you brewing coffee, when the coffee tastes really watery and not much to it, then you just go finer. If the coffee is tasting really sour and very strong in the middle to back palate, you go slightly coarser. So you can really adjust your taste by the grind setting, and make sure to keep the variable, keep the water to coffee ratio exactly the same. Okay, so it's about 2 minutes. So just with the spoon, you don't want to agitate it. You just slightly push down the coffee ground, then drain it into the saba, and it should take about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes if your grind setting is correct. This coffee has got pomegranate like acidity, and very sweet like molasses, and I can taste lots of vanilla or some kind of cherry flavor to it. It's really juicy. This coffee is probably one of the fleshiest coffee I have received. because generally it takes about 3 to 4 months. The moment that the coffee cherry is harvested and processed, it takes a very long time to actually receive it. But because of I specifically air fried this coffee, this is actually the freshest coffee I have ever received, and literally it processed and harvested 2 months ago. So coffee is really juicy, and yeah, I'm really enjoying this coffee.